So let's say that you are shut in because it's winter in some areas. Then you're going to have to think outside the box. That's the creativity that we're talking about to grow your business. Put all that stuff up, get it up, and then let's worry about finding more stuff. That's what it's about. Hey everybody, it's Mike, the Golden State Picker. I'm in my shed, and we got a video today of 10 things I don't do on eBay, and we're going to discuss those. I thought, hey, why not 10 things I don't do rather than 10 things I do? So I thought, hey, that's okay. That sounds like we'll do it that way. Anyhow, if you're new to my channel, I'm Mike. I'm out of San Jose, California, also known as Silicon Valley, land of milk and honey, as Kevin the Commonwealth Picker says. It truly is. I can find some amazing stuff, but there are days when I don't find anything, just like everybody else. So it is expensive to live here, and I am a full-time picker, but I am basically retired, but not retired. That means I basically am doing what I want to do with my life because of reselling. And hopefully you, if you're sitting on the fence, will decide to resell too. There's many ways to do this, and anybody can do this. Trust me, if I can do it, that really is, if I can do it, you can do it. And I'm going to show you the 10 things that I don't do, and there's probably more, but these are the 10 that I came up with today, okay? So let's start off, and these are in no particular order, but the last one is probably my most important for me, but I will start off with in no particular order. I'll just put them out there. First up, I do not do promoted listings. A lot of people ask me, do I promote my listings? And I do not. And the reason being, there's a general reason. I sell a little bit different product, I think. I sell items that don't, when you're looking at promoted listings, you're trying to get your listing to the top. You are paying for that, but that will stay at the top. That's the promoted listing. And in some categories, it's very crowded. Clothing, shoes, just some categories. And so your listing can kind of get buried down in the bottom sometimes. So you have to basically sometimes promote that to push it to the top. And a lot of the items, I don't sell a lot of clothing and a lot of shoes, so I do not have to really promote my listings, as that's the way I feel about it. I may be in an item of only, let's say, 15, 20 items. So most people are going to scroll down and see me. And in general, I'm very competitive on price. So that should help me. And I can tell you, I have never done a promoted listing. Now, it doesn't mean I won't, okay? It just means that I don't at this time. The fees range, from like 2%, and you get it pretty high. I've seen 10, I've seen a little bit higher, but so you're also going to pay a premium on that. And personally, the way I do it, I just don't do it, because my listings in general are very competitive on price, and they are not in categories that seem to flood the category and force you maybe to do some promoted listings. But that's my general thinking on promoted listings. Up second is I do not do calculated shipping. And there is a lot of people say, hey, I do calculated shipping. There's a couple of reasons, but number one, it's mostly time for me. I have to sit there, measure it, weigh it, figure it out, then enter it in. And I want to keep listing, basically, keep listing. And I have a very unique way of doing shipping in my head. Basically, guys, if you think about shipping, most of your shipping is from $0 free or to $30 when you're putting them on your ad. So 0 to 30 in general, and then the bigger items can go up to 50. So I'm anywhere from 0 to 50. I know that I deal with small, mediums, and larges. And I've gotten to a point where I am so dead on with shipping that I really don't need the calculated shipping. Now, people will say, oh, Mike, you live in California, and if somebody lives on the East Coast, what happens then? I always set my pricing from California to either Boston or Miami. That's kind of the general rule. But I already know that certain things are going to cost certain dollar amounts. Classic example was yesterday. I sold a sewing machine. I sold it in California, had it up for $400. I took a best offer of $360. Shipping was $50. I believe that that buyer knew that my shipping was a little bit high and worked out a deal between the shipping and the best offer. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So I don't worry about somebody here. I heard people say, hey, well, doesn't it hurt your California sales? I can tell you many times, no. Now, sure, maybe it does here and there, but does my item usually sell? It usually does sell no matter what. So I really don't worry so much about that. The people who have the biggest advantage are the people in the Midwest. If you're in that Midwest, you've got the left and the right covered. You are in the sweet spot of shipping. There is no reason, if you're in the middle of this country, that you should not be making some money off of your shipping. And I mean that as, hey, people have to remember, we do shipping, we have bubble wrap, we have paper, we have time. Everybody seems to forget time. Time is money. You hear that all the time. So that's the same thing with calculated shipping. I don't want to sit down and do all the measurements. It's kind of wasting my time sometimes. Now people say, hey, why don't you just do it on some of the bigger items? I really don't need to. And here's another example. Yesterday I shipped out 2 turntables. Now, if I would have done the calculated shipping and made up the box size, I would have been wrong on one of them. I would have been too big. And, that could potentially be, I would have been too small. I would have been too small. And that would have been a problem in the cubic. So that can also be an issue. So we've got to be very careful when we're doing calculated shipping that we get it correct and we don't make a mistake. So in general, I just don't do it. And if you ask most pickers, most of them do not, use calculated shipping. That's my take on the calculated shipping. Here's the other thing. I do not do auctions. Now, it doesn't mean I don't do them, period. There are a few throughout the year. I looked last night and I did $1,000 in auctions this year, and I can tell you probably 2 of them. One was a Star Trek script that sold for $750. So that required me maybe to do an auction on that particular item. So there are areas that I do dabble in, but in general I do not set all my ads for auction. There's a reason. They require much more time to manage. They're constantly coming off, going on, all that kind of stuff. So you are constantly having to manage them. And some items just don't sit for auction at all. How many times have you seen an auction where there's been one bid and it's been a $5 winner when that item should have sold for $30? People are setting their auction prices too low to begin with. You always set the auction price at the price that you would make money minimally. So if you want to get $25 for that item, then you set it at 25 or 23, but you don't set it at 5 and hope it gets up there. So there's a lot of potential for error, that kind of stuff. So I only do auctions in very few situations. The other thing I don't do is, some people like to ship once a week. I ship every day. I want my shipping flow to be consistent. So some people will have their handling time long enough that they can ship out certain periods. Now, I was watching another YouTuber and he was getting some flack because he wasn't shipping his items fast enough according to the buyer. Well, he was well within his rights because he had 3-day handling and he was shipping on that 3rd day, and some people were getting a little itchy. I do set for 3-day handling, not 1-day handling, and try and garner that 10% from eBay, because if you do set 1-day handling, you can get like a 10% off the fees. I don't set that. That's too much pressure. Don't put yourself under pressure. You got to give yourself some time to obviously get through if you have a problem, something goes wrong, all that kind of stuff. So I ship every day. If I might not ship everything every day. Like, for example, last night I got the sewing machine late in the day. So I said, no problem, I'll ship it the next day. But I shipped everything else. So we're working in patterns. We're trying to keep things moving along all the time. And you don't want to get hammered where all of a sudden you got a day where you got to do 30, 40 items. So I always ship fast, basically the same thing. The other thing I don't do is I don't list once a week. I list every day. There are some people who do listings, just once a week. every Saturday or something. I do listings every day. I try to put up something every day. For example, last night I only put up like 3, okay? That's okay. I try to average about 8. That's my goal, because I sell about 8 items a day on average throughout the year. That's all I sell, and I've, between 2 platforms, Amazon and eBay, I did over $330,000 in sales last year doing these things that, not doing these things basically right here. But first I do is I list every day. You want the eBay algorithm to see that you're consistent. Nobody knows nobody can tell you what the eBay algorithm is. You don't know. Nobody can tell you what the Amazon algorithm is, or the Google. So all you can do is continue to be consistent. List consistently every day. Even if it's only 2, 1, whatever, get those items out. You will be amazed at what happens when you do that. I feel like if you put it in consistently, you're going to get orders consistently. So keep that in mind. Now, I do not do free shipping. Doesn't mean I don't do it sometimes, but about 98% of the time I do not do free shipping. Now, it's a classic example here with, I think, the new post office update. Kind of messed up a lot of people who had free shipping and didn't have first class and the ground advantage. So you kind of get messed up just from that potentially, right? And if you put free shipping and the prices go up, now you got to change your prices on your listing, because let's say you were having an item at $20 and you had free shipping, and the shipping on that item now is 50 cents more, and you've got free shipping, you are now 50 cents in the hole, so to speak, on that item. So I'm always pricing each item and putting the shipping in. I can always adjust price, all of that kind of stuff, but once I put a price in there, I'm always building a little safety net also. I mean, so many people are afraid to put a little extra on the shipping, or you might say, oh, I'm too high on the shipping. Not necessarily, guys. If they see that you ship fast, if they see that your items you're consistent, all that kind of stuff, they will spend $1 or $2 more and buy from you, or they might put an offer in for $1 or $2 less to offset that. I'm gonna have to sit down and do a shipping video. I really have been talking about this, and I really need to sit down and show you that how every day in general, I bet you 98% of the time when I do my batch, they say I sold 10 items yesterday. I think I did, for example, I shipped 2 turntables and a typewriter yesterday. 3 of those, just those 3 items. I made $50 on those 3 items shipping. They were all priced at, one was priced at $44.95 and the other 2 were at $49.95. And I made $50. Now, is that, some people will say, well, that's wrong. No, that's an agreement between the buyer and me. And I have time. It takes me time to ship those 3 large items. So again, we need to get our shipping spot on. If you're not spot on with your shipping, you're going to go out of business really quickly. So keep an eye on the shipping. That's why I don't like to set free. Free sounds great, but here's the psychological ploy. Let's say you're selling the item for $30 and someone has it at free. Now, let's say that's going to cost me $9 to ship. I'll put it in at $19.95 and for the price, and $9.95 for the shipping. Psychologically, the buyer's looking, hey, this is $19.95, this is $30, but let's see what the problem is. Oh, he's charging shipping, but now the buyer is going to add the 2. He's going to go, oh, he's still cheaper than the free. You're getting an eyeball on your product by having the lower price. That's the psychological part of it, I believe. So no matter what, if you know that that item is going to cost $9, that guy doing 30, he's pretty much going to be $9, okay? So you know what to do. So over time, you build these up. You build up knowing your pricing and shipping. That's what I'm talking about. Knowing exactly small, medium, large, $15, 15 to 25, 25 to 35. You get what I'm saying. You just have to be very, very good at pricing. Now, this one here, a lot of people do this. There's nothing wrong with it. I'll give you my explanation for it. Is I do not cross list to other platforms. And what I mean by that is there's a great service out there, not bad mouthing it whatsoever, is List Perfectly. Many people use List Perfectly, and it can help you get your items into other platforms like Mercari, Poshmark, all of that kind of stuff. For me, again, I am pretty much a one-party eBay and then Amazon for my books. I don't feel like I want to complicate my business, is what I'm saying. I feel like if I do that, I'm putting myself into an area now that I've got to do some things. I know that List Perfectly can take an item down, that kind of stuff, but I get concerned that maybe there'll be a glitch and that kind of thing. And then now I'm shipping to several different platforms, and that can be a little bit more confusing. So guess what? Time is money. Always think of that. Time is money. So if I'm having to spend more time figuring out this one goes to Poshmark, this one goes to eBay, this one goes to Mercari, for me, no, it won't work for me. And so I don't do that. I do some local stuff with Facebook Marketplace, and occasionally, very occasionally, I am on Mercari, and that is even becoming even more rare for me, basically. So nothing against it. You guys want to do it, fine. I'm just giving you my thinking here. It's basically a time thing and a confusion thing where I can get screwed up, and I don't want that. I want to keep my eBay business as simple as possible. That's my thinking. You know, the old KISS, right? Keep it simple, stupid. That's kind of what I'm thinking on that. All right, now, this one is you know, some people are going to not like this one, some people will. I don't have a death pile for eBay. I have my friend's locker. I consider that a little bit different. Okay, I'm going through that because it was a one-time big purchase, and some of you have these one-time big purchases, so you got to be really, you know, you got to think here like me. What I mean in general, if I go out and thrift and I go out to a flea market and a garage sale, those items are not going to go into a pile. They are going to go up instantly that day. So I am going to go ahead and photograph them, get them ready, and list them. I have a process, a pattern of what I do. And that comes back down to listing every day. Some people say, well, during the winter, I don't have anything to list because there's, you know, and I can understand that. I really do. Let me give you a little bit of thinking on that. Personally, let's say you just put all your death pile up, everything, and it's wintertime. It forces you to do several things. It forces you to rethink about your business. How can I find inventory? All of that kind of stuff. How can I make my my shop cleaner? So the time that you're going to save, so let's say that you are shut in because it's winter in some areas, then you're going to have to think outside the box. That's the creativity that we're talking about to grow your business. Put all that stuff up, get it up, and then let's worry about finding more stuff. That's what it's about. If you can get this stuff up, boom, now I can go out and look around and see if I can find some other stuff. That's the key now. Networking, finding people who can help you find stuff, all of that kind of stuff. Now, here's another thing too. So let's say you have a death pile, and the death pile is sitting there, and it takes you a month to go through all of it. For an example, a month later, some of those items now might be worth less, or maybe you're not going to make any money on it because the margins were so thin. So that's the other thing. It's like Amazon. When I put a book in Amazon, Amazon literally could change, the price could change overnight. It's constantly changing. So if I let that book sit around for even a week, that book could potentially be no good or make no money. So at the time, it might say, Mike, you're going to make $5 if you do it now, and then maybe a week, 2 weeks later, now I make $2. So that's what I'm saying. So the death pile needs to go up no matter what, at least the stuff you're buying. It's like throwing, you know, you hear it, right? The death pile, if you paid $100 for stuff and you put it on the ground and you don't get to it for 2 weeks, well, your $100 is sitting on the ground. It's sitting on the ground. So yeah, I hear you. I don't have much stuff to list during the winter, or I get well, if you're getting so much stuff, that means you're overwhelmed. So I do not carry a death pile, especially on stuff that I purchased that day, that particular day, guys, okay? Now, here's another controversial one, or some people kind of wonder. I do not take returns. And I I kind of chuckle when people send me stuff, buyers, and they send me say, well, you don't take returns. Well, yeah, I don't take returns. If you don't like the item, okay, but it works and everything's fine, then it's yours. That's my opinion. But you always have the return available to you if the item is damaged, it doesn't work, that kind of thing. So what's the purpose behind returns? So that everybody feels good? That's the Amazon, Costco, Walmart, all that thing, where that's the society we live in, right? Free returns, free shipping, free everything, right? So our mindset is being set by these big box retailers that you've got to do it their way. No, I don't have to do it Amazon's way where it's free. Nothing is free. Eventually you pay for it somewhere. So I do not do that, but I reassure the buyer, hey, look, if there's something wrong with it, okay, you get to return it no matter what. That doesn't apply. It doesn't mean that I send you a piece of junk and then there's no return. It doesn't work that way. It is there for you don't like it. You know, how many, that's why the clothing category, you see it, free returns. It's like, trust me, you've seen it, guys, but I see it every day when I go to UPS, and I see the sheer amount of Amazon returns that are coming back to the UPS store to go back to Amazon because of just that liberal free return policy. So I do not set free returns. Yeah, it might garner me some more buyers, but it also may garner me some more problems. That's my thinking. And I believe that I've been on Kat the Nurse Flipper's channel, and many of the pickers on that channel are doing the same thing, no return. So it's really up to you. It's a personal thing, and that is basically what I do when it comes to returns. Now, here is the final point. It is the number one thing that I do, and it's sitting on my wall. It's right there. I don't buy just to buy. And what I mean there is sometimes we go through struggles sourcing and finding things. Now here I'm in Silicon Valley. There's a lot of opportunity. That's the key. I have a lot of opportunity to find things. And people think that, oh, I just go out and every day I find items. Well, it's not the case. There's been many days when I've come home and I found nothing. And it can happen. I'm not the only picker out there, so they may be getting the stuff just before me. I might be 5 minutes late to a great item. I don't know, but I'm not there just to buy something, especially later in the day when it's really not going well. So you're out garage sailing and you really haven't found anything, and you're down to like maybe 2 or 3 more garage sales you're going to go to, and then your heart rate, I haven't found anything, and the next thing you know, you're buying just to buy something. You've got to make sure that the item that you're buying has a shot at selling. Doesn't mean that you just don't buy anything. You've got to take that best educated guess using your knowledge to say, hey, this item's got a chance to sell. And I always used to say, you've got the two people talking to you on the shoulder. Don't buy, don't buy. And one of them's going, boom, and the other one's staying. So you have to make that decision. And I'm always wanting the guy to buy, but it's got to be the right item for the right price. And I'm not going to just buy it to buy it and then say, hey, I got something. You're better off walking away. Many times I have done that, and I feel good about it. I walk into the store, and some of the first things I say to myself is, be careful, things aren't going right, don't buy just to buy. I'm just kind of reinforcing my mind. You hear that a lot. Just say something to yourself like that. Okay, hey, remember, let's be good today. Let's not force our buying, and you will be amazed at how you'll save some money, save some space. Now, we all make the mistakes of buying some bad items that just, hey, it doesn't work out. Well, those are okay. It doesn't work out. It doesn't work out, and then over here is, oh, I should have never bought that. So you got to keep that in mind, guys. It's a fine line, but remember, sometimes it's better to walk away with nothing than to just buy something and it's just going to sit around, so you threw your money away. We've got to consistently do things so that our money works for us in the best way possible. All right, there you go. Those are the 10 things I don't do on eBay. Hopefully you'll garner something in there. If you have a comment or anything, put a comment down below. Don't forget to hit the like, the subscribe, and the bell notification. All that helps me in my videos, gets it out there. I am trying to I'm trying to help people learn how to resell. It's not a difficult business to run, but I think a lot of people make it difficult, and we need to make sure that we tell people it really isn't as difficult as it seems, or people make it sound to seem. We'll do more videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again in my next video.